What's up? What's up? What's up? You are now rocking with the best cipher platform on the fucking planet, Grind Mode Cypher. Tonight, guys, we got volume 45. You can see who my guest is. Johnny Concepts, my wonderful co-host Johnny Concepts, has taken some sick time tonight, so he will not be joining us. However, that will not stop the show from going on. Guys, before we get into it, I'd like to ask, please, for a share, a like, a comment, ask a fucking question, drop a GME. Let's fucking go. I got a little commercial to play for you guys, and when we come back, I'm going to drop a 16 of Pestilences, and then we're going to get into the interview. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Volume 45 of Behind the Grind. Welcome, welcome. My name is Trip B. Once again, my co-host Johnny Concepts, my lovely co-host, has called out for the night. It is all good. For volume 45, we are rocking with the homie Pestilence. Pestilence, what's up, man?
How's it going, man? How's it going? It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Of course, pleasure for having you, man. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. We all know how crazy life can get, man. I really appreciate you sitting down with us and shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of got lucky, man. This week's been a weird week. Where I work is closed for the week, so I asked off like 3 months ago, and then they decided like 2 weeks ago when they decided to close for a week. They're like, hey, it's because you're not going to be here. So they just had to shut down the whole operation, man.
Wow,
No, a bunch of people called off at the same time, so they just decided, fuck it, everybody's overworked. Let's just close her down, and it lined up at the perfect time for me, man.
That's awesome, man. We reached out to you at the perfect time, obviously.
Yeah. I'm usually Thursday's usually not a night that I'm able to be available, so it's dope to be here, man. I'm definitely a big fan of the show.
So well, thank you. So on that note, guys, we are all very blessed to be in the presence of Pestilence tonight. As weird as that may sound, blessed to be in the presence of Pestilence. But yes, indeed, we are. Details is in the building. What's good, my friend? He says, "What's up?" We got Lagoon in the house. Details, what's good? Jonathan Jordan, what's good? Ability, what up? Kid Arsenic, I see you. Twoface Media, obviously in the building. Let's see, guys. Before we really get into this interview, I be bumping. What's good? I see you guys. I see Facebook user drop the GME. You can go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and grant us permission to see your name if you don't mind. That'd be cool. All right, guys, let's get into this 16 from Pestilence before we get into this interview. This joint right here was from Salt Lake City, produced by Ray. This was actually volume 3, sitting at around 38,000 views right now, so we could run that up a little bit. Pestilence, let's get into it. What do you think, bro? Drop the verse.
Hell yeah, man. Let's do it. All right,
no. Now mute your mic.
Apostle Paul, get it? Misrepresented. That's why I'm staying authentic, fitting truthfully. Now they be saying that I'm prophetic.
Cutting heads, West Side Show. Unknown psychos, flesh-filled guts under freshly stuffed pie hole. Try no blind hope, limits of his human form. Pen clutch, psi matter, apropos to cue the sword. So Two-Face, rat nest, regicide. Keep few close to the clan of his many-eyed little friend. Primate, terraforming cosmos. Hollow up the underground hoodie in a god flow. Known mongrel, apex tonto. Right hand man to the Space Kase. I'm those Grind Mode Cypher. Late night raw show, starlit skies catching streams by the one glow. Robe cinched tight in a seemingly gregarious embodiment of otherworldly legion to nefarious. Lines with a predilective cycle for protocol. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Fuck it, yo, we take them all.
Yeah. What do you guys think of that one?
Oh, bro, man, that event was fucking so fun, man. That was such an unbelievable introduction to grind mode right there.
We're gonna get into that. Thank you for saying that. That's dope. I was also gonna say that's probably my favorite verse of yours so far on the grind mode cipher. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I just like everything about it. I can't really pick what it is, but I just love it. So
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for dropping that heat on the channel, bro. Come on.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, so yeah, like I said, guys, run that one up. Grind Mode Cypher, Salt Lake City, Volume 3, produced by Ray. Shout out Ray, dope ass producer for the ciphers. Now Pestilence. Let's get into this shit. Now,
Hell yeah.
hip hop coming up. Was hip hop something that was always in your household, or was hip hop something you came across a little bit later in life?
Oh, absolutely not. Hip hop wasn't a part of my life until like 3 years ago. I like outside of like obviously the songs everybody hears, the stuff that's on radios, like in just in the world, movies, shit like that. I mean, like your Eminems, your Dr. Dre's, your bigger than even some DMX, like just anything that was big enough to reach anyone's ears. Obviously, I heard some of that stuff, and it never really like resonated with me per se, like it fit like at school dances and in certain places it felt like that to me, like it felt like it had a place there, but it wasn't something that I was ever like playing in my free time. Honestly, music, as weird as this sounds, I didn't really listen to a lot of music until I got to high school, really. I grew up in the country, in like a pretty rural area, and like my dad always used to listen to country music, and I hated it. Like he would listen to like the modern country at the time, and he would always like it was a structured household that was structured kind of how like the family, the old prototypical family, the kid plays baseball, the daughter plays softball, like all the things that they had wanted, they kind of pushed them on us in a way. And to me, it all started to dissolve at some point, and I just like all music didn't really find me at all until high school, and it was through friends really that I discovered rock music. And rock music was what really got me into music. I started going to festivals like Rock Fest when I was 16 years old, and got really, really into like metal music and just anything rock related. I was all about it up until my young 20s, and even today, man, I still love that stuff. Just any genre of it. I got into grunge for a big time. I got into punk. I've got into all the different offshoots of rock, but it wasn't until a few years ago, man, my best friend, actually, the one that like I went to all these shows with, him and I were like little metalheads together, running around like just fucking shit up in our town, vandalizing stuff, listening to metal music, very, very Beavis and Butthead.
Right,
And
right.
and he was, man, he was a solid dude. He had a family, he had a great job, he had everything going for him, and he just out of nowhere, seemingly, he took his own life. And it really, really it flipped things for me big time, because just anytime somebody in your life disappears, it's obviously loss is hard to deal with, but that loss in particular was, if I could think of anybody to have lost at the time, like that was probably the only person that would have had that kind of impact on my life, because at that time I wasn't really going out of my house. I was basically working, and then I stayed in my apartment. I played a lot of video games. I was actually like streaming video games at the time a lot. And then because I just didn't really want to socialize, but when that happened, it kind of puts you in a situation where, like, now there's a funeral. I got asked to deliver a eulogy. He had a little brother who was like 21 years old. So then his little brother wanted to go out to the bars with like me and a couple other people. And this is around Halloween. And he just happened to, say, hey, let's go to this bar in fucking little nowhere, Wisconsin, fucking Sturgeon Bay. They have a lot of music in Sturgeon Bay during the summer, but it's not really known for hip hop or really any music at all, outside of like regular dad rock stuff. And we just happened to go to this little shit bar. I never go out, man. I never would go out, and it was Halloween, and they happened to be having an event called Hip Hop Halloween.
Oh, wow.
And it was thrown on by Twoface Media. The man Space Kase and all the homies were putting it on, and it was the perfect storm, man. I just ended up really, really appreciating the live, authentic music. I mean, they were just putting on a little underground hip hop show. There's a lot of dope acts there. I got a little bit of alcohol in me. I wasn't a big drinker, but got a little tipsy, which kind of took me out of my shell enough to interact with people. And at the end, I just remember going up to Space Kase and kind of just telling him, like, yo, I really, really, the show was dope. I had known who he was. I had heard his music. His was probably like the first hip hop that I really started listening to, which was weird because like he's a
Yep.
local dude, but
Right. That's cool.
a mutual friend knew him and really, really fucked with him and showed his stuff to me. And I thought like, wow, like somebody around here is doing this. Like I just thought it was cool. And he's very, very unorthodox cat. So I appreciated it, and then I talked to him, and he was just like I expected, like he's somebody that's doing stuff like that. You expect like maybe an ego or like but he was like the most humble dude of all time, and he actually was the one that invited me to come to the studio, and he just kind of got me involved, and ever since then it's just been like it 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 filled that void for me at that time, man, and it's become like a giant part of my life. I don't know what I would do without it, man.
Right. Yeah, that's fucking awesome, man. What a comeuppance into the world of hip hop. Like from nothingness from nothingness to hearing your father's country in the background and
Oh.
despising it to and the metal music and shit and rock and then into grunge scene and shit like that. And I guess I would say you can tell a little bit of that with your style that you do have. And shit like that. I would say it leaks over a little bit into your style, that rock swag, I think. And that's dope though. Like I kind of was the same way. I didn't really find music at all. And I always heard top 40 shit, and it was cool. Like for back then, like Bruce Springsteen and fucking the Beach Boys and shit like that. And it was always cool, and I thought they were cool people and shit, but it never drew me into music until I found hip hop as well. So pretty similar from not enjoying music at all to delving into it at first. So shout out to fucking Space Kase and Twoface Media for throwing the show that got Pestilence involved into fucking hip hop. So that's
Hell
dope.
yeah, man. That's the man. I always explain Space Case to people as like Mr. Miyagi
Oh shit.
to me. Like he just really took me under his wing. And I remember, man, like telling him, because I wrote poetry. I wrote poetry for years, but I never shared it with anybody. And one of my like really close friends, like there was people that I was really close to that had heard like a little bit of it, so they knew like, hey, you've got something going there. They always encouraged me, but I always thought like, they're just my friends, so they're just telling me this to be nice to me, and that's great, but
Right.
I'm not going to do anything with this. And Space just kind of was like, hey, I heard you're into writing, you're into this, like maybe you'd be interested in this. And I just, because I was kind of drunk, I was like, yeah, I'll do that, thinking like, there's no way I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to follow through with this. And then he just hit me up and was like, hey, what are you doing? Like 2 days later, he's like, what are you doing now? And I didn't have an excuse. I was like, nothing. So he said, well, why don't you come to the lab? And I wrote some stuff, and he had me, it was just some shitty YouTube beats that I had found. I wrote some stuff, and I started, he just got me into the booth and had me start recording. And man, it was really, really uncomfortable at first, but like, if I could tell you that there wouldn't have been another person I could imagine that would have got me to fall in love with it than this dude, who just like literally, not only did he take the time, but like it was just he has this calming presence, man. And like it's funny because the homie Mars one, I think described it best. He says he's like a tribal war chief, man. Like he's just this larger than life dude. And I've seen him do it for other people since I've started doing this. I've had other people, vocalists and what have you, that have not really recorded before, come through the lab, and just people that are terrified to do it, and I remember, and still sometimes I'll have stuff that I get in the booth for. It's totally different and your heart's pumping a little bit, but like he's just got this, it's like a perk, man, like in a video game or an RPG. He's got like this soothing presence of Space Kase that he just puts out there, man. And and he's so encouraging too. Like he just, I've never seen anybody give such genuine, encouraging feedback without, blowing smoke up people's asses either. So he just, he kind of got me into it. He really, really, we connected as artists too, and creatives, and just as people. We're both a little out there, a little bit, kind of more fringe members of society in our own way. So we really, really kind of connected as brothers first, and then the music kind of just went hand in hand with it. And he just kept giving me different opportunities. First it started with like, hey, let's record some stuff. And, 2 months into recording stuff, he said, hey, do you want to perform? And I just thought like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. And
So
after that, shortly after that, he said, I got a show that I got to do, and I need a hype man if you're willing to do that. Of course, I know your whole set.
Right,
Like,
right.
so I started doing that for him and hyping for him for a long time. And then that just kind of got me more involved with shows and more involved with shows and
more comfortable on stage.
yeah, man. And it all comes with time and experience and just kind of finding your own space. But man, I couldn't have asked for a better like mentor or somebody to just kind of take me into it. I obviously haven't been a part of this for that long. And I see other people that have been a part of it for a really, really long time that have not been given the same opportunities that I was given so quickly. And I owe that to him. He was established. He'd been doing this for decades and had the connections and the reputation, and he vouched for me. He got me in the door, and he got me opportunities.
I was gonna say, for as much as talent plays a part, it is all about who you know.
Right.
And it seems like in the Sturgeon Bay area, he's the guy to know. So
absolutely.
So Pestilence lucked out by your first introduction was to like somebody who had all this potential to really set you on this path. It's dope.
Yeah,
that's really dope. Yeah, man. Shout out shout out your boy I'm sorry, shout out Twoface Media, shout out fucking Space Kase. There we go.
Hell yeah.
I just wanted to keep it moving to the point where Space Kase is doing his thing with you, guiding you into this direction, and you guys are doing your thing in Sturgeon Bay, doing some local shows and whatnot. When did Grind Mode Cypher become a part of this?
So we were doing all kinds of different, obviously our own local stuff. Nothing was really like, we didn't have a plan like, hey, we're gonna do this and then this is gonna lead to this. It was just it was new enough to me that I was just like, hey, let's just do stuff. And I was actually just releasing like, I kind of had a plan I was writing a lot of music. I wanted to release like a track a week. And just I was about to get to the point of doing this, he found Grind Mode online. It was actually through a dude, I think it was Micah, Mr. East from Battle Axe that sent it to him, originally sent him the flyer and said, hey, check this out. And he sent them, I don't know if he sent them another show as well, or if he just sent them Grind Mode and like a couple different things from Grind Mode. And Space ended up submitting a track. And he didn't tell me about this. He just submits a track. I know you think he would tell me, so I could tune in live to see it with my own eyes the first time. But no, I didn't get to see his debut on Grind Mode. But he did. He submitted a track. And then he told me the next week, he said, hey, check this out. And he showed me the flyer. And I kind of had, I think he had the same interpretation of the flyer the first time he saw it that I saw it. It was a lot of skepticism. It was, what is this? There's a lot of people out there, a lot of predatory, whatever. And this didn't seem that way. And kind of what made me go, actually, let's give this a shot is that there wasn't really, at that time, there wasn't a minimum. It was just any donation would get you played. This was a little over a year ago. And it was just about to release my first track, and I decided, all right, well, let's get this played on the grind. Right. And it just became a part of the release schedule that I would release a track and then I would submit it to the grind every week. We would do this. And he had all kinds of tracks, and me and him just doing this together, and we were getting all kinds of really great feedback and different feedback from all kinds of people, because obviously the network is really well established, and Lingo and AOK know their stuff, man. And that's another thing that I gotta give a lot of credit to, is that it didn't feel like they were just blowing smoke up people's asses because they're donating money, or pandering to anything, or even rehashing the same critiques or criticisms and just becoming kind of robotic with it, because I think with a show like that you very easily could. But they give very unique feedback and honest criticism where criticism's due, but also like, hey, this is maybe you should try doing this. This would sound good. And Lingo has such a great, they both have great ears for it, but Lingo as like a mix engineer, obviously is really, really impressive. And he's got a lot of really cool suggestions. I like tuning in sometimes just in the background. I'll just put it on when I can't interact, and just listening to how he breaks down other people's music and what he would do. So it really kind of drew us in that like, hey, this is a cool outside source of feedback for us. and we were both just working regular jobs, doing shows when we could do them, making our own music. And the Salt Lake City Cypher came up because you know, I once we started doing stuff with grind mode, all kinds of different people on Facebook and various social media platforms connected with us. And one of them was B Franks from Utah. B Franks, the microphone strangler, who helped put up that first cipher with grind mode. And I remember because he was part of putting that together, I saw all of the first flyers that were going out from it, like, hey, this cipher's happening.
Right,
And
right.
they were, you know, advertising that one pretty well in advance, I think. And I just remember kind of saying like, it'd be kind of cool to go to that event. And I just commented, again, not really putting a lot of thought into it or really taking it seriously. I kind of put like hey, you know, I'll ask at work if I can get off. I never really ask off for work, and I was like, and if I could make it, that'd be a cool little trip to make.
Right, right.
Totally not taking that seriously. But Lingo sent me a message like 2 days later and was like, hey bro, did you get off work?
Right.
And that just him like personally reaching out like that, I was like, well shit, I didn't even ask, I better ask. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
was
Right.
at work, and yeah, I asked, and my boss was like, yeah man, you can have off. So I said, all right, screw it, like I'll do it. And I asked Lingo, like, what do we got to do to make this happen? He sent me the details, and I kind of mathed it out. I'm like, I can do this, I'm gonna do this. And I said it to Space, and Space was like, that's awesome. And then like 2 hours later, he's like, I'm coming with you, brother, I'm gonna do it too. Like, let's make a road trip to Utah. And then you know, we hit up our homie Christian, who's the president of Mad World, another one of our brothers, to come with us. And we all just kind of took this trip out to Utah, absolutely not knowing what to expect at all.
Right.
And you know, we're obviously a little weird. You know, I'm always looking like this. Space is gigantic, larger than life personality and human. So I really didn't know what to expect walking in there, and it was my first interpretation. And I know I've seen this on some of these other show, you know, behind the grinds, where other artists say this, where it's like, man, you're getting into an event with like 50, 60 MCs sometimes, and you know, you expect, man, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be a lot of egos? Is there going to be a lot of, you know, posturing and people kind of looking at each other funny? And I totally expected that environment. And as soon as we walked in, everybody's dapping each other up. Everybody's showing love. It was really different. And then once it kicked off, man, the energy at that event, and still to this day, I've gotten to go to 3 different grind mode events, but that Salt Lake City Cypher, man, everybody was like on out of 10, just off the fucking charts, full of energy all at all times during the whole thing. So it was just, and it was infectious as hell. So it was so fun.
Yeah.
And after doing that one, man, it was just, I've been hooked since, man. Just anytime that I've had an opportunity to get to those, I'm sure you know, I mean, they're just, it's really hard to explain to people that haven't been to one, man. And even people that have been to dope hip hop shows, we've gotten to kind of be a part of a lot of really cool stuff in our hometown, and our home state, you know, and a lot of those acts that we've performed with, you know, have gotten to experience that magic with us, you know, when we have those really awesome nights. But even those, like the most awesome of awesome nights that I've had there, it's a different experience being at a grind mode cipher, especially when artists come from all over the place and you're able to connect with people that you normally wouldn't get to connect with. And just the I think it's a top down thing, man. I think you know, Lingo and AOK and you guys as the generals that kind of laid the foundation for everything, kind of create a vibe that you know, there's no bullshit and it's all love. And that you see it from the top down, from the guys that everybody respects because they saw them before they even got involved, and that I think kind of rubs off on everybody. And it's like, wow, yeah, this was when I got introduced to grind mode, everybody welcomed me with, you know, with welcome arms. So I want to, you know, welcome the next set of people with welcome arms. And I remember just each cipher I've gone to, like the Texas one, there was a bunch of people that hadn't been to one, and we were there the first time. And I remember getting to tell people like, well, yeah, this is, you know, this is kind of how things go, and share some of that magic and get to see their first interpretations of the ciphers. And it's, man, it's really, really a cool thing, man. It's,
Yeah, man.
I can't imagine where we'd be without grind mode now.
I'm telling you, man, and these ciphers, they're definitely all unique in their own right. And it's like some people are like, oh, you've been to one, like you've been to them all, and in a certain sense, yeah, because we're shooting ciphers at these events and shit. But they all have their own unique vibe, and although there might be a general core of people that are traveling with the team or doing whatever that you see repeatedly over and over on these ciphers, it's that there's always a handful or more, or 10 or 20 of artists who haven't experienced grind mode cipher before, and we're welcoming these artists and at all skill levels, and you know, with open arms, and shit like that. So you know, this is what grind mode is all about, man. We build from the ground up with artists, and we'll take you as far as you want to go, man. And as you can see, you know what I'm saying. So we're
Hell
really
yeah,
glad to
man.
have you as a part of the team, man. For real. I just wanted to say before we get into rapid fire at 8:30 that because we got about a couple of minutes before that happens. Now that we talked about your upbringing into the hip hop world, your first grind mode experience, your local scene experience, and shit, we're gonna talk about at least 3 to 5 names I need from you of grind mode cipher affiliates who either A, you would like to work with again that you worked with in the past, B, maybe you've worked with them on a cipher and you'd like to do a joint with this person, or C, just anybody from grind mode, past, present, future grind mode
Oh
affiliate.
man, this is like obviously a hard and easy question for me because I'm weird and obsessive. So after I found the ciphers, I've watched so many of these. I've gone back years, 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 and just watched tons of the series. So I've got some names for you.
Okay.
Number one, there's two fellas down in the Carolina area, and it's like one of my favorite ciphers of all time because I refer to it as like, man, it's like the dude, like it's like the dudes that you rap with, dads coming and saying they're gonna come whip your ass and
Yeah.
bar you out, and they fucking do, man.
Right.
Shadow, that dude is fucking filthy with it and so fucking clever and dope with the mic. And Kaiser Soze, man, both of those dudes really stuck out to me on those cipher series, having a lot of swag, a lot of mad bars, really, you know, genuine dudes. I can tell they have the passion for it. I really appreciate that. So those are two dudes I would definitely, you know, fuck with for sure. Um, Rage Roxwell is another one that like somebody else had kind of mentioned to me. I think he's a really unique cat as well. He's got a very unorthodox style and delivery, and he's very, um, you know, out there with his content as well too. I think we could come together and do some cool stuff.
Mhm.
Um, Actually, details, man. I saw that he had kind of said something on here last time, and he's kind of we've kind of tripped back and forth on statuses. Both of us are pretty shitty at following through and reaching out. But he's another one, man, that I think that he's got a really great repertoire of creativity, and his content is definitely something where he kind of spans out there into you know, topics that definitely interest me. So I mess with that. And you know, the homies from the Southwest, man. You know, shout out to Mars One. I'm wearing a Mars One tank top, one of the originals. And the homie Zaro, from Silver City. Definitely excited to do some work with those guys, for sure. As far as MCs go, and then man, as far as the producers go, definitely excited to be getting into a project with the man with the homie Boom Tact for sure too, because he's nasty with it.
Oh, for sure. One of my favorites as well. Yeah, shout out Boom Tag. Shout out those artists. My boy. Let's make it happen. I record his vocals talking about his cousin Details, obviously.
Hell yeah, man.
Real quick, Pestilence. Let's run through this comment section real quick. I want to say what up to you, Dead Phones. I want to say Vendetta, what up? Verbose, what up? The man himself, AOK, what up? Emphasis, what's good? Julio, you already know the deal. It's always been love since day one. I be bumping in the building. Salute. Oh, emphasis again. Twoface, obviously. Dave Reinhardt, I seen you in here a minute ago. Scandalous, what's good? Derail, what's good? Who else is watching? Drop a GME. Drop a question for Pestilence if you got one. Right now, I think we're about to get into rapid fire, and I'm here too. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha. Uh-huh. Oh shit. That's official right there. It's a man himself.
Yep.
Scandalous.
That's how you know.
Oh yeah. No pun intended with my it was just natural.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh shit. You just jumping in like that, bro? You just skipping the line? You're skipping the line. You want me to go to rapid fire, or you wanna pop away?
I want to turn my phone up. I can't fucking hear you for shit.
No, it's okay.
Let me get
There
a
we
light.
go. There we go.
That's good.
Yo, what's up, Pestilence?
Yo, how's it going, homie? How you been?
Chilling, man. Yo, I didn't know it was just gonna throw me right into the mix, guy.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
You're gonna be
Yo,
Why
I
did
just
it do?
fucking pop out of nowhere, bro. Like taking over this bitch.
I didn't accept you into the room, so I don't know how it just popped right in.
I think I have superpowers. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
He's
You
an
think?
alien, man.
Bro, just let it be known.
Yo,
It's
so
2020.
what's good, Pestilence? Yo, man, I had a couple questions for you, bro. Do you like read poetry at all?
I haven't for a long time. I used to though.
You
for
used
sure.
to?
Yeah.
It seems like you kind of got a poetic style, to be honest. It's just like the way you put words together is really dope, man.
I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I before
absolutely.
I did hip hop, I actually the first thing that I ever shared was was poetry. I wrote some poetry and connected with a lot of like underground poetry artists online that I thought were dope. And then there's classics, obviously, like Edgar Allan Poe is one that everybody kind of tells me like, hey, do you like Edgar Allan Poe? I'm like, yeah, I like Edgar Allan Poe. He's dope. Everybody likes Edgar Allan Poe. Like there's classics like that are dope.
After he died.
Yeah, after he died, yeah, nobody liked him when he was alive. Everybody fucking hated him. So I can appreciate that. And then the Odyssey is my favorite. It's technically an epic, but that's my favorite poem of all time.
Oh wow, by Homer.
Hell yeah.
It's dope, man.
That is super dope. Good question.
Yeah, absolutely. I figured, just throw it out there. But yo, so now that you are established in this shit, Space Kase got you like in the right spot, Twoface Media, and y'all linked up and shit. What's your ultimate end goal with this shit for music? What do you like? Where's your finish line?
I don't think there's a finish line, man. It's really just like about the creation of the art for me. I really just enjoy the outlet for it. I mean, it's more therapeutic to me than anything. So I think establishing more and more platforms to continue to be able to expose that creativity, because each outlet is different. Performing on stage is different than releasing music, sitting in a booth. They all have their own kind of catharsis, and I love them all for different reasons. So being able to be involved in different facets of it is definitely something that's important to me. So my current goal is to continue to establish more relationships with the local scene around here. A lot of venues around here don't really trust hip hop because there's been kind of some bad blood with hip hop and some of the local venues over the years, and bad impressions left. Fortunately, we've had a really, really great reputation and track record so far, and hope to continue that. And I hope to continue to establish more and more relationships with local venues, and being able to do kind of what Space did for me, for other artists, hopefully someday, be able to give other people opportunities to experience, jumping on a stage and rocking a mic, because there's I found it when I was in like the darkest spot of my life, and didn't really think that I would make it through that mentally. And without hip hop, I don't think I would have. Having that outlet to be able to get things off of my chest and out of my heart was really, really important to me. And no outlet that I've ever found is quite like a hip hop show, man. I mean, there's nothing that gives you that, like, you feel like you're in an action film. And it's beautiful, and you get to feel all these wonderful emotions at one time, and it's like I said, there's nothing like it. So I hope to continue to establish and be a part of as much of that as possible, and if that's just rocking a shitload of dive bars for decades to come, then hell yeah, I'm all about it, brother. If it's
dude. Fuck yeah.
continue to expand the movement and getting to be a part of some bigger things. You know, as long as the artistic integrity remains and I can still get to express that part of myself and help other people do that and don't feel like people are being silenced, I'm willing to go as big as anything's willing to take me. Um, so hell yeah, man.
Well, it
Yeah,
seems like you're getting to know the right people so far. So good
Yo, Salt Lake City was a lit event. That shit was like a fucking action movie, dog.
Yeah.
It was, man, and
It
even you can
was.
hear it in the ciphers and the mixes, dude. The energy in those ciphers were just like it was nuts. Like I was like, I thought like,
Yeah.
shit, like things
Yeah,
are gonna come down.
we always tell you guys at these events, for the affiliates watching now and in the future, like the energy translate on film, it translates onto the camera and shit. So Lingo said it 100 times and shit. So you can go watch those Salt Lake City ciphers, and even the clip we played of Pestilence earlier, like it's jumping, like it's a whole different vibe. Everyone there brought the energy. It was infectious, like Pestilence said, and shit like that. So bring the fucking energy.
Just
Hey,
take like 5 people, man. That's what I remember about that event is that there was just a few people around me that were hyping everybody around them up. And then it was like a wave. It just dispersed through everybody. And then it was just after it happened the first time, then it just kept up in the ante. And I was like, this is fucking nuts, man. This is fucking nuts.
Yeah,
And I
that's fucking
like people have nerves and are like nervous and shit like that. Fuck that, man. Just go for it. Like it's so fun when shit's popping off like that.
Oh, absolutely.
just go for it. I love it. Exactly. Yep.
All right.
All right, my dude.
Good checking in with y'all. I'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
in
Oh
sir.
yeah, brother.
We
We'll see
appreciate
you
it.
soon, my man.
Hey, yo, yeah, I'll see you fucking 2 days,
Oh,
dog.
this
Or
weekend.
tomorrow, maybe. Fuck.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
All right, yo.
All right, bro. We'll talk.
Safe
Peace.
travels.
Thanks, man.
So on that note, guys, they're talking about an event this weekend coming up, and I just want to share that on the screen for you guys. This is the event that Pestilence and AOK, along with these other dope affiliates here, will be at this weekend. It takes place in Green Bay, Wisconsin, at the Tarleton Theater. You can find all the info here on this flyer. Hosted by Mad World, Sean Crutch album release. You can find this flyer on the Grind Mode Cypher page on Facebook. All the info you need there if you're local to the Wisconsin area. And we hope to see you guys there, man. I won't be there, but these motherfuckers will be.
It's gonna be a unique grind mode event, man. We got a live DJ. This dude is nasty with it, man. DJ Toxic T, the homie. And Mad World, man. Mad World, it lives up to its name. I think a lot of people see art vendors, they see merch things, they think, I've seen a merch table before, I've seen a spread before. You've not seen a Mad World spread before. This dude it's like everybody talks about like Lingo and AOK as far as how, especially Lingo, what he's been able to establish with grind mode and how far he's taken that because of his dedication and just like this guy's obviously an alien or he was built to do this clearly because like how the hell is one man accomplishing so much? That's what Christian is with Mad World. Like it is unbelievable the things every artist that's there is gonna understand after this event and want to connect with this dude. And if you're not there, I'm telling you, you see Mad World anywhere, you see Christian anywhere, connect with this dude. He is special. He's just special. That's all I gotta say about it. I mean, his work speaks for itself.
Man,
He drew this, man. He drew this with his hand, with fire. He drew that with fire.
I was just gonna say, you are very complimentary of your friends, and I need friends like that, more of them. So we should be friends because we can.
Hell yeah, bro. I'm about it.
Yeah, that's my friends, man. I'm great at it. I compliment my friends all the time as well.
Yeah, I think it's important, dude.
Tell me they don't come in clutch though. These supportive friends of ours.
They're why I'm still here, dude. They're why I'm still here. You know, every day. They're the reason that I'm still here. They're my family, dude. That's my family. I don't have a family. That's my family. So I take it very seriously.
Big facts. Mad World would like to say much love, Pesto.
Much love to you, brother.
Guys, before we get any farther, we're gonna get into rapid fire right now. I do also have another verse of Pestilences. I have two more lined up, but we might just get into one because I have a couple more questions for Homeboy. But we're gonna get into this whatchamacallit, rapid fire. If you're familiar with Behind the Grind, you're familiar with rapid fire. This is something we've done all 45 episodes now, I believe. So let's see. Let me share the screen. I need to go here. We got this little 2-minute timer. We're going to share this. Let me make sure the volume's not too crazy. All right. So now some of you may know my co-host tonight is not around. Johnny Concepts has called out sick for the night. He used up some sick time. So what we're going to do is, usually him and I would go back and forth with this, but I'm going to do my best to keep up and fill up this entire 2 minutes for Pestilence right now for you guys. So let's get it. Pestilence, are you ready?
Yeah, grata-ta-ta-ta sound.
All right, guys, brought to you by Brawlers Inc. Clothing. Here we go. Would you rather fly or be invisible?
Invisible.
Biggie or Tupac?
Biggie.
Ranch or blue cheese?
It's blue cheese with wings and fuck your mother.
Tacos or pizza?
Pizza.
Pop music or rock music?
Rock music.
Daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime.
Biggest fear?
Oh shit. The naked man fears no pickpocket. I have no fears.
Oh, okay. Also, I thought you feared a naked man, which also would have been acceptable in some circumstances. MC Hammer or Vanilla Ice?
Ooh. Vanilla Ice.
Intelligence or humor?
Ooh, that's also tough. Humor.
Gatorade, Powerade.
Powerade.
Powerade. Coke, Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Big L or Big Pun?
Big Pun.
Biggest pet peeve?
Oh, people that drive slow in the left lane on the highway.
Oh, my brother. Action movie, comedy movie?
Action movie.
Beats or lyrics?
Ooh, both are equally important, but for me, beats. I'll bring the lyrics.
Okay. All right. Michelangelo or Leonardo?
Ooh, that's also tough. I like Leonardo's name better, so I'll go Leonardo.
Ooh, Leonardo is tough. Let's see. TV show Pestilence or movie night Pestilence?
Guy Ritchie movie night.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Would you rather mow the lawn or clean the house?
I'd rather mow the lawn.
Facts. One more here for the fuck of it. Recording or performing?
Performing.
Oh. Well, that was Rapid Fire brought to you by Brawlers Inc. Clothing. Hop on brawlersinclothing.com. Grab you a fresh t-shirt today. Shout out to the legend, Joe Brawler. Pestilence, what do you think of Rapid Fire?
Oh, Rapid Fire is always fun, man. I always like that segment. I think it always puts people on their toes. And I honestly, I got to give it to you. You guys do. I mean, there are some questions that you hear more than once with like certain ones. I think you have to, the nature of that kind of thing. But there's always unique ones. So I got to appreciate it that you guys take some time to throw some crescent wrenches in there.
Yeah, we kept a basic format for the first like 20 of these, and lately, even more so lately, now that 50 is approaching and shit, like it needs a little revamp, it needs a little touch up, if you will. So I figured I'd throw out a few new ones for you tonight and shit like that. Like also like that. Yeah, man. Also, streaming, like we're also streaming right now on the Grimo Cypher page and in the official group and shit like that. So if you guys are watching from either of those locations right now, which I have seen a couple of comments because it'll just say Facebook user, unfortunately. But if you guys are watching from Facebook right now, drop a GME. I'd appreciate that. Pesto, we gotta keep it moving. If it wasn't for music, if it wasn't for finding hip hop and rolling into Sturgeon Bay that night and finding Grimo Cypher and doing all this shit, if it wasn't for music, what do you think you'd be doing for a hobby right now?
I would still be writing to some degree. I honestly, and that wasn't something I found until like my senior year of high school. I didn't really like, I just had no outlets. I was like kind of a shit kid, kind of had like a lot of misdirected energy, and had a newspaper teacher that just like happened to, say she was retiring and she's like, you are far and away the best writer in this class, and I fucking hate you because you
Wow.
you don't spend your time focusing at all. You just come in here and piss away all your time for 30 minutes, and then you write a perfect article that like you won all the awards I submitted you for, like all this shit, but you
So,
have no discipline,
right.
But I was always told that I was a shitty writer because I had terrible penmanship, and
Okay.
I grew up kind of when we weren't typing stuff as much, so I would just get bad grades on a lot of papers because of my fucking handwriting sucked.
Wow.
So I just thought I'm not skilled at this. I didn't
Right.
pay attention to like what what syntax was or anything.
Maybe your
Um,
teachers just needed to be a little bit better at their jobs and realize, no offense, and realize
Maybe.
that sloppy penmanship sometimes be due to the amount of genius in an individual. Are they aware of
Well,
that?
I think it just has to do with like the way that I hold a pencil is kind of dumb. So
Well, that certainly affects it as well. How do you
yeah.
example, please?
I mean, I just hold it regularly, but kind of like a caveman, like a little harder than I ought to. You know how like kids with those big crayons hold them like in a fist. That was
Yeah.
kind of how I am with a pencil. So it's just
Work pencil, making the pencil work as hard as it can and shit.
I broke a lot of lead. I broke a lot of lead.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
Um,
I don't know. That kind of got me into like it just after getting told like, hey, you've got a skill at this from somebody that like there was no uh reward for her to tell me that. That stuck out to me, and it made me start wanting to like first I was like, I'm gonna write a book, and I just couldn't focus energy enough to want to do that. I love reading books. I'll go through phases of reading like a shitload of books, and then I won't read for like a year, and then I'll read a shitload of books and I won't read. I'm very so it's hard for me to sit down and write one because to write a book, man, takes an unbelievable amount of focus and energy. So people that are able to do that, and maybe one day I'll get there. Right now, I don't have that goal, and I don't think I would be doing that even without music. I think I'd probably continue to be just kind of writing poetry to myself, man. I worked a lot of customer service jobs over in like gas stations, convenience stores, grocery stores as like service desk dude overnight. And
oh
I would
boy.
spend a lot of my free time, just scribbling on, you always have like scratch paper there. And I had like folders and folders of the scratch paper that I would write short stories,
Mm,
poems, just
mm.
random stuff, sometimes song lyrics, whether
You
it
know what I
wasn't hip
love?
hop,
You,
just
you know what I
anything.
love about this interview, Pesto, is that in my head, I have like three questions. Like you'll say something and then I'll have like three questions about it. And then as I let you continue talking, it's just like they used to tell you in school, like, wait till the end, wait till the end for your questions, because you go ahead and answer all the questions. Because my next question was going to be now when you explained to us that you have this affinity for writing and stuff, like was that always poetry? Did it consist of short stories? And then you just went ahead and answered that, so go ahead. I apologize.
No, you're good. It definitely like it's branched out into different things, and like the cool thing about music to me is and I think it's the same thing that's cool about reading is I've always had like the blessing of a good imagination. It draws vivid pictures in my brains, so I'm able to when I read stuff, I really have like a very clear picture of what is going on, and it's really satisfying. It's more satisfying than watching a movie. I think everybody has heard that cliche before, but I don't know if that necessarily does apply to everybody because I don't know if everybody has that same ability to get and blessing of getting vivid pictures of everything that they see. And music does the same thing. It like paints a picture in my head. So every different kind of writing that I kind of got into would do a different. It would set off like a different side of things.
Mm,
But I definitely gravitate more towards things that are a little more short, and things that are also a little more abstract and kind of like I always liked to choose your own adventures. I always liked things that could be like not necessarily cliffhangers, but endings that could be left up to a reader's interpretation,
mm,
stories that could be left up to a reader's interpretation.
mm,
And that's just because those stories to me, my brain always came up with cool endings to those stories, and they had replayability. You know, when I would read the story again, maybe 5 years later, I would have a different ending. So it was they
Something tells
definitely
me
continue to
something
talk.
tells me big fan of Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it really fell off, and I think like they kind of ran out of juice with it. But those early seasons of that show were fucking incredible. I really, really like those.
And then speaking of the pick your own fate, they did the movie there. Wasn't that Black Mirror related as well?
Yeah, I didn't like that episode in particular as much as I had hoped I would. It just didn't speak to me. But man, some of those other ones, like,
Were great.
yeah, I like the dark concepts and
Right.
the potentiality of what technology could do.
Right. And how each episode is its own individual short story, if you will.
Oh yeah, the little vignettes are incredible. You can jump in anywhere. That's how I always recommended the show to people, is just, hey, don't watch the first one first, because it might turn you off of the whole show.
Right. Thanks. Look at this one. Turn to page 42 if you choose Douglas Adams.
Fair enough.
Thanks. Turn to page 43 if you want, if Pestilence grabs the microphone or decides to walk off stage for the night. Shit like that. I used to love those stories.
Oh yeah, those are
right,
so fun.
Big time. All right, so this one's a little new too, but I thought it was a cool question because I answered it immediately in my mind, and it was it was my musician self related. So if you walk into fucking Space Kase's crib tomorrow, and he's like, yo, fucking, I got it, bro. We figured it out. The time machine. We figured out the time machine. We can only go back in time. We can't go ahead.
Okay.
And we can only go once. So Pestilence has an opportunity to go back in time once. What are you going to do? What are you going to change? What is the one thing you're going to go back and change?
Oh man. See, I feel like a lot of people would want to do something like very impactful and grandiose that would, like, you're stopping a great tragedy of some sort, or taking out some horrible dictator, vindictive, evil person throughout history somewhere. Man, and space probably already knows, and it's like this answer would change consistently depending on my mood. But like it would have to be something that's like very, very small, but and wouldn't make sense to anyone. Just to go back and like, I don't know, like somebody that doesn't deserve it gets a pie to the face, or something of that nature. There something, yeah. I wouldn't do anything that would actually change anyone's future outside of maybe giving them an extra embarrassing memory of some kind. Actually, yeah, and this is the one I would choose. I had to kind of keep running in my brain to get one. I would, before that, like she reached out and touched the surly bonds of Earth speech that Reagan gave, I would pump like whatever drink he had full of like a lot of X-Lax, so he like crapped himself while he was giving that speech. Because I think it would be really like, he was such a hero to so many, and it would be like, yeah, but like he made the Browns, and it happens to everyone. Yeah, he shot himself while he was talking about the Challenger. Is that the guy that you want to?
He just kept talking.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like,
exactly. So it would be something like that.
It would be something minor then. Well, we all know, like, if you watch the Umbrella Academy at all, which I'm a fan of.
Hell yeah, bro.
We all know that you should only change minor things, because the existence of our humanity depends on no major changes. We all know that, right? So.
See, I'm excited. My girlfriend needs to catch up and watch the rest of. She needs to watch the second season, because I want to watch this third season, but I've been waiting patiently to watch it.
It's good. I think I have. Oh no, I finished it. I did finish Umbrella Academy. I still have a couple episodes of Uhtred, son of Uhtred, left, which is what's the name of the show? I can't think of it. The Last Kingdom, which is a pretty good show.
I love the soundtrack on Umbrella Academy too. They do such a great job of setting the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that pulls you in. Whatchamacallit, guys, I do appreciate all the comments we've been receiving tonight. There were a couple great questions. I know we're still gonna have time for the one question that obviously everyone wants to know, which is the Pestilence mask. We're gonna ask how that started and what's up with it. But also I want to make sure we leave time for Pestilence to give his shout outs and plug his links and shit like that. So Pestilence, let's hear it, man. When did the mask play a part? Was it always part of the Pestilence character? Talk about it.
So yeah, honestly, the mask is it's more so it's what's allowed me to do this in its own right to some degree. Just because, like I said before, I kind of jumped out and went to that hip hop Halloween event. I didn't really go out. You know, I was borderline agoraphobic, extreme social anxiety. Grew up in a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody's story. Um, and it was just something that like I did not respond well to growing up. I was a very outgoing person when I was very young, but I kind of had a rough childhood. My parents went through a nasty divorce. I had a ton of health issues while they were going through that divorce, and I spent a lot of years in the hospital by myself. And when I was in the hospital, um, I guess I can liken it to I've never been in jail or prison or anything like that, so I can't say it's the exact same experience, but it's a lot of time by yourself with very little human interaction, especially when you're a kid. Like I had no freedom; they wouldn't let me do anything.
Wow.
So my only interactions with like a nurse, doctor, like a couple times a day. My parents weren't really around. My family wasn't really around. I didn't have a ton of visitors, so I'd go for months on end just kind of being stuck in my own head. And I remember like going through all these different stages of grief as a very young child, like why me, you know, all these horrible things, being really sad. You know, at first I was hopeful that like things will just get better. Oh, I went in because my appendix had burst, and then it was just things just didn't get better.
Wow.
And they found out I had Crohn's disease, and it was a really bad case. It just got worse and worse and worse, and it's very much triggered by stress and
Oh yeah.
those outward environments. So the more and more that shit fell apart at home, the more and more my body fell apart. So my mind was what had to kind of save me from that. And I've always kind of had, because of, you know, all the nastiness, more of like I don't want to say cynical, but like a darker worldview on things, and just in media and stuff where like, you know, things can have a happy ending, but not, it doesn't necessarily, it's not like you were happy to go through the experience to get there. Maybe you got to somewhere where, you know, the end goal is great, but, you know, not everything was rosy along the way, because that's what related to me. You know, I didn't have rosy path. I didn't have, a lot of things, you know, and that I felt like I had needed. So I created, you know, in my head, like a reason for all this suffering was that, you know, I'm going to go through all these diseases and stuff, because I need to survive these diseases, because I'm this, you know, otherworldly creature that, you know, absorbs all these diseases for other people. So it just kind of became a vindictive reason, like a superhero kind of thing that I built in my head, that was like, I'm taking these bullets for somebody else, you know. And then it became, it kind of expanded more into like mythology and stuff like that. I read a lot on, you know, different characters in mythology, and it just, I don't know, it became like its own little hero. Like the plague doctor always was there for me as a child, and then it just kind of like, I feel like I assumed that role. It's been a part of my personality for so long, and the character didn't really shape itself immediately when I first started making music, but it kind of naturally fell into place. I knew what the name I wanted as soon as I started rapping was going to be. I had my poetry name was, Poetic Pestilence, which, actually, like, I'll give you guys the deep lore of where Poetic Pestilence came from. Shout out to Jurassic 5. Yeah, Put Me in the Mix LP 5 inch. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
the Poetic Pestilence. Yeah. So it's in, one of those old school tracks.
Throwing it back.
So fuck yeah. And I just remember hearing that and being like, hell yeah, Poetic Pestilence. I like that. So, you know, that just kind of became the moniker that I went with for the character of this, you know, legion of disease. And it's allowed me to bridge the gap between being somebody that didn't interact with society at all to, being able to go and interact, and have this character as kind of, that mental armor for me to be able to be comfortable being a part of this, because again, like I said, I grew up in a town that's like very much gossipy, word of mouth, and I was worried that, you know, getting involved in rap in this like small town where people aren't really doing that, people are gonna have harsh opinions of it, and maybe I wouldn't be able to handle that. And if that diluted this for me enough to where I didn't do this, well, then what would I be doing? And I wanted to kind of protect the art form for me, and this just kind of became a way for me to do that. I found the mask. I decided like, all right, like I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this at a show, and I put it on. And once I put it on, I just never took it off. And
able to like lose yourself and submerge into your music probably tenfold with the mask, because I can just imagine that it's like Jordan shutting his eyes to take that free throw, or something like that. It's like really becoming one with your art. And I find a lot of respect in that. And I don't really consider it a gimmick. I think it really fits, like it's a complete package, like with your delivery and your content and your essence, if you will, on the track, your aura. It's like it just works. It just really works. And I wouldn't tell you otherwise if I felt differently. So it's dope, man. And I hope, to be seeing you in even bigger things than Grind Mode Cyphers in the years to come. So
I appreciate that, man.
I know we still gonna be the biggest thing in the years to come. So that's
why I'll tell you this. It would take a lot to take me away, not to quote Toto. It would take a lot to drag me away from Grind Mode. I just, man, I have nothing but the utmost respect for everything that the brand has represented. And I mean, to me, man, like I talk about being obsessive, kind of like I didn't find hip hop until a few years ago, but when I dove in, like I've listened to so much hip hop, and the hip hop that's really kind of spoken to me is the underground hip hop. And a lot of my favorite artists are people that I don't feel like have gotten a ton of shine. And even going back into older artists and stuff like that, guys like Pun and Big L and stuff, like, yeah, they got their flowers, but did they really get as much flowers as they would have gotten nowadays? No, not even close. And some of those people that, a lot of the people that paid the foundation, their life wasn't a comfortable life even while they were at the top of where they were at. I feel like Grind Mode gives a voice to the people that are authentically creating the art. Not saying that every mainstream artist is a sellout or anything like that, but I feel like it gives regular people an opportunity to get connected to something more, and it's
the underground is where the heart is, and the soul.
Right. And just uniting the underground. It's what I always kind of tell people, and other affiliates have always said, it's the Planet of the Apes mentality, right? Apes together strong. There's a lot of silverbacks out there. There's a lot of people that'll bar you out. There's a lot of people that, man, that'll strangle you on a track. It'll strangle me on a track. It don't matter. There's people out here that are fucking doing this everywhere. But none of us will get anywhere if we're just trying to compete with each other over fucking peanuts. But if we all get together, man, like fucking 100 silverback gorillas running at a gate, we might bust that motherfucker down, So I think
that's another thing, is that the steel sharpens steel mentality, and the sword sharpens the sword type shit. That's what Grind Mode Cypher is.
Right. Every time I get on a cipher, man, and get to be a part of stuff, it always makes me want to bring up my game and up my game and up my game every time, because you don't want to you don't want to get barred out on tracks by other MCs, but it's also inspirational in a way to go out there. And there's never been a cipher that I've gone to that I haven't heard at least like 3 or 4 verses that I'm like, wow, that was fucking sharp.
I gotta go say something to him. Like,
I gotta go talk to that guy, or like, that was fucking nasty, or like that line just stuck out to me. And it's just, and that's just the thing about hip hop to me that I really love, is it paints these vivid pictures, and the wordplay. There's so many different things you could do with it, and people have just stretched this into so many different things already, and it seems like there's no end in sight for what can be created. And it's just, I find an MC, it seems like every month, that I'm like, Jesus, I can't believe I've never heard of this person, or I've never heard anybody rap like this before. And it's a beautiful thing, man. And I think that there's a place for everybody to shine, man. I don't think that there's any reason why people should try to gatekeep. And that's the thing that really speaks to me about Grind Mode, is that everybody that's wanted to be a part of it. You know, as long as you have that genuine energy and you're willing to kind of follow through, the grind mode seems like it's willing to take people as far as they're willing to take themselves. And I have a lot of respect for that. Hey, got a
100%.
cat that's trying to bust into a closet that he does not belong in.
Pesto being a gatekeeper right now in the closet.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
That's for another time. Pesto, why don't you drop? First of all, what a pleasure it's been the past hour rocking with you.
Pleasure's all mine, man.
Great stories. I could sit here for another hour with you, definitely. Why don't you drop some fucking links and shout outs?
Oh man, yeah. I got so I'm at Poetic Pestilence on Instagram and Facebook. Feel free to link with me there. I'm not great. I'm not great at following up on my social media all the time, but I look at all my notifications. So anybody that sends me any messages or anything, I will definitely respond to you for sure. I've got a link to some merch. I don't know exactly. I gotta find what the link is called.
FYI, guys, Pestilence is sharing his merch and his link with you right now and shit like that in his socials. However, all these links are also in the description of the video. And also, as AOK would like to remind us, and also AOK is going to be a gem that he fucking is, and he's dropping the links right here in the comment section for you guys as well. This is Pestilence Facebook link, and this is the Mad World Apothecary link for the merch.
Yeah, madworldapothecary.com. There's all kinds of that's where you'll find all the merchandise. You can get all the stuff there. I got a lot of all my music right now is currently on like Spotify and YouTube and all that stuff. It's all free to stream everywhere. You can find it on the Twoface Media YouTube channel, all one word, Twoface, TWO face, yeah, media on YouTube. That's where all the music is right now. I'm currently in the process of working on like 3 different projects that'll all probably be coming out, I would think, before the end of the year. At least 2 of them for sure will be coming out before the end of the year. So those will likely have other distribution opportunities. And yeah, man, I'm always willing to link up with other artists and creatives of any kind. I'm definitely, don't be a stranger. If y'all have any questions or if you guys want to rock on something, definitely reach out. I love to create with new people. I love to kind of jump out of the box and do different things too. I mean, and that's the other thing about grind mode that's so fun, is that every time you get a cipher, man, you don't know what beat you're gonna get. You don't know what the beat's gonna sound like, and it's so fun to it's like Christmas every time.
You don't know what it's gonna pull out of you.
Right. And sometimes, man, like I've gotten beats that I'm like, I wouldn't pick myself. I wouldn't write, I wouldn't go buy, I wouldn't go, if somebody sent it to me, it wouldn't be one that I picked out of the folder. But I love that. I love that because it brings something different out of you, and it challenges you in a way that maybe you wouldn't challenge yourself otherwise. So it's just, man, ciphers are so fun.
100%. Well, on that note, my friend, we're going to wrap up volume 45 of Behind the Grind. I almost just sent my camera flying, but would have been a good way to go out. Pesto, man, like I said before, great interview. I can't wait to meet in person. I don't know. I know we rubbed elbows at Electric Haze, or I saw you there, but we didn't really get to speak. But next time we're going to change that for sure.
Hell yeah.
That's it, man. GME, fucking, are you coming to the barbecue?
Man, I'm brokenhearted to tell you that there's no way I'll be able to make it to the barbecue, because being 2 weeks after this event, we've poured a lot of resources and energy into making this happen. If I would be able to make it to the barbecue, I'd be stretching myself so thin it wouldn't be what it's meant to be. So my goal is next year I want to make sure that I make it to the barbecue. By hook, by crook, by tooth, by gums, any way possible, I want to be there. So I definitely want to be there, but I'll definitely be seeing you at an event at some point, hopefully this year. Because I want to try to make it to more for sure.
For sure. Well, once again, friends, volume 45 of Behind the Grind. We really appreciate everyone tuning in. Great comment section tonight. Shout out everybody for liking and sharing on Facebook and whatnot, and to the 1,000 or so people who have been watching this. I was just gonna say, you went from being scared to show your face and fucking doing that at first to now about 1,000 people will probably watch you on this interview. So So
Heck
there
yeah,
goes
brother.
that, you know what I'm saying?
Baby steps.
We really, yeah, exactly. Guys, it's a fucking wrap. Volume 45. We'll see you again in a couple weeks. Johnny will be back, hopefully. He's a little under the weather tonight, for those of you guys wondering. Pesto, man, peace out.
Peace out, brother. Thanks
Peace,
for having
man.
me.
Of course.
I didn't get Johnny sick, by the way. I promise.
Yeah, right. I know, right?
It wasn't
grind
my
mode
fault.
everything. Grind mode everything, motherfuckers.
Fuck the rest.
Grind mode till the spine fold.